Hi, how you going? I'm Chris Maguire. In this series of videos, I'm going to make you the musician that you want to be. And I'm going to do this by going over topics that you probably haven't thought of, or if you have thought of them, there's very little answers to some of these questions that you may bring up. That's where I come in. Okay, so today what I'd like to talk to you about is creativity ruts. And if you write original music, you would have experienced this. Some weeks it just pours out of you, just every idea is golden, it's just everything's working, just everything you touch it turns to gold. And there's some good times. But then on the flip side of that, there'll be like a week that goes by that nothing really good comes out, 2 weeks where nothing good comes out, 3 weeks where nothing comes, and before you know it, you're stuck in a rut and you think all the good times are behind you, you've written your best stuff, and that's the end. But it doesn't have to be the end. Every creative person goes through ruts from time to time, and it doesn't last forever. That's a good thing. But I do believe in really trying to break out of a rut. I really try to limit how long a rut lasts for. Now, it's just one of those things that there's no normal sort of time frame, but I really try to break out of it after 2-3 weeks. Really, you have to do something and try to break out of it. The number one rule when you're trying to break out of a rut is try not to force anything. Don't force any riffs out, don't force any song ideas out, don't force anything out. The outcome is going to sound forced. It's not going to be as inspired, it's not going to be a really good piece of music, so don't force anything out. Number two is listen to a totally different style of music. If you listen to a lot of metal, listen to country. If you listen to a lot of pop stuff, listen to jazz. Now, what I just explained, the different types of music are all Western type of music, but you could take that to another level and start listening to more Eastern type of music. Really listen to the Indian type of music and add that to your playing, or even just listen to it to appreciate it. Their type of music is just so far removed from what Western culture is. They have totally different scales, totally different notes. And it's just wonderful to listen to because it's so different, and if you could add just 1% of that element to your music, that's going to break you out of a rut instantly. It's going to give you a lot of inspiration. So listen to something that you don't normally listen to, something that's completely different than what you have been playing, and just add that element to your next riff. It will do you really, really well. The next thing is try a different tuning. Especially if you're a guitar player, you can tune the guitar to pretty much whatever you want. If you just Google alternate guitar tunings, there's going to be a plethora of tunings that you can tune to. The beauty part about tuning to something that you're not used to is none of your chord shapes are going to work. None of your scale patterns are going to work. You don't know where anything is, and you just have to go with the flow and what sounds good. And that's going to force out totally new ideas, totally new sonic spectrum that wasn't possible before. I really get excited when I tune to an alternate tuning because you never know what's going to come out. And it wasn't possible in standard tuning, but is possible with an alternate tuning. The next one is really think out of the box. There really is a lot of unexplored territory in music, and I think today is probably the best time ever to be a musician. We're fusing a lot of different styles together, but we're starting to really build upon what was already there and really taking it to another level, or a really more extreme level. Really think outside of the box. Try to get, if you're a guitar player, try to get different sounds out of your guitar. Try to do things that have never been done before. Try different effect combinations. Do things in a different way. Really try to think outside of the box. Another way that you can do that is with your guitar techniques, is add techniques to your techniques. That's how a lot of people are starting to do it. For example, sweet picking was very common in the 80s. Then once one person started to do it, millions of people started to do it. Then it wasn't cool anymore. So then what the top 10% of guitar players did was they'd start to add taps to it. And then before you know it, everybody was doing sweep picking with taps to it. Then what the top 10% of guitar players did was add sweep picking with taps with slides. So that's what we're at today. Then the next step, what I would probably do is sweep pick, slide to another pattern. But then if you've started on that, do the next step from that, and the next step, the next step. Sweep picking with natural harmonics, or sweep picking with something else, or a totally different technique altogether. You really have to break through and really think outside the box. It does take a lot of time and effort and practice, especially if you're coming up with a new technique. It's going to take a lot of time to practice it. But once you get it, you're going to be the first person in the world to get it and really think of that idea, and that sound is going to be your own. It's going to be worth the effort and that you put into it. Okay, so I really hope this helped you get out of any creative rut that you may find. Really take those tips on board, and they should do you really well. Stay tuned for the next video, where I will promise to make you the musician that you want to be. I'm Chris Maguire, your musical mentor.